All right. Well, welcome to our podcast, which does not have a name. This is podcast number one, again, nameless, but it is to introduce ourselves. I'm Dal,
I'm
and my
Carmie.
co host, well, we're both hosts, Carmie. So, we're going to talk a little bit about ourselves today and just introduce ourselves, what we do, our history, and basically what brought us to where we are in life at the present moment. So, Carmi, go ahead.
So we are both health and wellness coaches. I guess you want me to go ahead and start first with my story?
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Okay. So I'm a mom of two daughters, and basically what started off as my journey, me being, I guess, reactive because I had to prepare for a wedding, really became full circle moment for me because it became a higher purpose. So a little bit of background about myself. I grew up very active as a child. I grew up as a dancer. I actually hit the stage again for the first time in 20 years last night, which was a
Yes,
really cool moment. I didn't think that these old lady legs would ever do that again.
you ain't old. Girl, we are in our 20s up here.
I, I mean, for sure, for sure. I definitely look the best I've ever looked to date as a 40-year-old woman, which is something I guess we could talk about in a later episode, like that full evolution. Um, but in the dance world, I am a senior citizen.
Geriatrics.
Pretty much. But I never really struggled with weight growing up. I was very fortunate. I did struggle with basically how I looked just because I didn't look like everybody else. I was built differently. I was built like a dancer. So I had the thick legs and this, almost like a stocky body because I'm also short for reference. I'm 5 foot nothing. So I'm very tiny. So growing up in a society, or I guess the culture where I grew up, it was very different. A very Caucasian society. I was one of maybe five Asian people in my high school. Small chested, short. So was always wearing those chunklas, those sandals with the wedges that are super high to give me like at least 3 or 4 inches to try to semi fit in. Um,
Well, they're kind of in now, so.
I mean, I laugh at my daughter because I have an 11-year-old who is basically
Yeah.
recycling my old style. And I'm like, hey, that used to be me. And she doesn't want to believe it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
So I was dancing almost about 7 days a week. So you and I both know now as health and wellness coaches, like my activity level was up, was through the roof. So I never really had to worry about how I ate, what I did, because it was just nothing. And then of course now fast forward to when I have to graduate high school, and culturally, parents saying, hey, you can't be a dancer. We invested so much time in you from the time you were 8 to 18 to be a dancer, but now you cannot be a dancer. You need to go to college and do something else. You need to go be a nurse or a doctor
Mhm.
or something prestigious, right? Something that we could
Yeah.
brag about. Like, oh, my daughter is
Oh, yeah.
this. Because nobody wants to brag, oh, my daughter's a dancer in a Filipino
Yeah.
household.
Oh,
I'm
yeah. And
not
ours
sure
too,
why.
right?
Yes. And then so
Yeah,
now I
that.
enter into a college, a 4-year college, where I got early acceptance as a pre med student, but my heart wasn't in it. My heart wasn't in it. I messed around a lot. I didn't apply myself. And then now I went from a whole lot of activity level to none. And now I'm wondering why my body is changing. And we grow up being taught, oh, freshman 15. So I'm thinking it's freshman 15, right? Because that's the cultural standard. That's the beauty standard. That's what everybody says to everybody. But really, what we should teach these people is that it's not the freshman 15 just because it's something that's normal. It's because you probably went from really high activity to very low activity. And now your diet is also changing. And so that's where my struggle really began. So I yo yoed up and down all throughout college and into my 20s. And then, of course, I hit 20s, my 21-year hard. And I
Mm.
was out partying and drinking and eating like an asshole. And at a certain point, I started looking at myself in the mirror, not liking my body because I couldn't figure out why. I just felt so uncomfortable in my skin and why I couldn't just figure it out. because again, we grew up in a culture where we were wrangled up in diet fads and the quick fixes and all the things, and I would try all the things. I watched my mom do this one diet where it was like toast, plain toast with like a couple hard boiled eggs and beets, and then it would be like
Mm.
tea. It was probably like a 400 fucking calorie diet.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Hey.
where I would try it, and then it would work until it didn't. And then the hot, do you remember the hot tea lemon with cayenne and honey?
Mm-hmm.
Tried
Mm-hmm.
that. Tried the green tea pills, to the point where I got so desperate. I also, unfortunately, but I guess fortunately because it's part of my story, um, entered into substance abuse to get skinny, and then it worked. And then it worked, but then it worked so well that I didn't recognize myself again
Wow.
until one of my friends, I ran into her, because at this point I'm a college student now. I ran into her, and she was one of my best friends, and she was like, "You look like fucking shit." And I'm like, "What?" Because in my eyes, I'm like, "I'm skinny. I'm so skinny. Like, I look great. What do you mean?" She's like, "You look like shit. You look like a fucking skeleton." That was an eye opener to me. So when you and I both like tell our audiences, like, we understand like the desperation, we understand what you're going through, we get it because we've experienced it. And it's not to throw shade at you like, "Oh, you're dumb. You don't know what you don't know," and that's okay. But the thing is that when we tell you that we resonate with your stories right now, it's because those were our stories before, and now we see the other side of it. I mean, to the point where like I couldn't figure it out. Now I lead to desperation to the point where I'm abusing my body. I'm abusing my body so badly. So then now I'm like, "Oh, I look like shit." So now what do? I don't know because I don't know the basics. So now I just go back to the same old shit that I was doing, which is eating like an asshole and just living life. And then you and I both know that every time you yo-yo back and forth, now you become net negative in muscle
Mhm.
mass. And now everything that you gain again is that plus more.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
now you enter into adulthood where now you're just like, "Oh, I'm pregnant." And then I was the one for my first pregnancy where I'm like, "I'm eating for two. Let me be." I'm hitting, I think I told you we had a conversation. I'm hitting, because at
Mhm.
this point on the weekends, I'm an x-ray tech now at this point. I'm hitting, working 3:30 to midnight, and I'm working in a location that's like about an hour away from my own home. So by the time I get off, now I'm hitting home around 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm hitting Jack in a Box at 1 o'clock in the morning, 6 months pregnant, to the point where the drive-through person was like, "Hey, Carmie, how's it going? You want the same thing?"
The
"Yeah, give me
regular.
two." I'm like, "Give me two tacos and an order of curly fries and throw some ranch in that bitch, please."
Gotta have the ranch. And all you ranch haters, whatever.
You can't tell me nothing about my ranch. Honestly,
Yeah.
seriously. Like, you can, cool, more ranch for us. Not a big deal.
Right.
To each its own, okay? Because I'm pretty sure you have some weird ass eating habits that like might be questionable to me, but I ain't gonna
Yeah,
judge. If it tickles your
exactly.
pickle, cool.
It tickles your pickle. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. I
So
mean,
now here I am. And then this is another thing that irritates me, because I finally have my baby, and that whole bounce back culture, because you hear
mm,
these women who irritate me because they're like, "Oh yeah, I bounce back so quickly after pregnancy." Bitch, not
no,
me,
you
okay?
didn't.
I mean, good for you. I'm happy for you. But you know what? All you ladies over there talking about how you breastfed and you went back to the same pant size pre pregnancy,
Hmm.
good for you. Because that was
Yeah.
not
Hey.
me. Because
No.
it was a struggle. It was a struggle to figure it out, because I always went back and forth in exercise. I would find myself in the gym, but again, never any consistency. Would do it for a little
Mm.
bit, see a little bit of results, be like, "Okay, I'm good now." And then
Yeah.
my nutrition, okay, 1,200 calories. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't weigh it. I just
No.
thought maybe it
No.
was 1,200 calories. So that was always the missing piece for me, was A, consistency, and B, actual nutrition, like logging it, seeing it, doing it accurately, reporting
Hmm.
accurately. And then so now here I am yoing again. Here's another pregnancy.
Right.
And then now here we go. Okay, what do? I don't know. And finally, we hit 2020. Oh, my husband's like, "Maybe we need to get married now." "What
Yeah.
do you mean? We've been together for a long time, over a decade now. Like, why? What's the point? He's like, we were raising two daughters. We got to set the example. So now here I am
Okay,
reactive.
now, yeah.
I'm like, oh, because we have two
Now
daughters,
you're
I
gonna put a
guess.
ring on my finger. Now you're gonna put a ring on your finger.
Well, at that point, he already put a ring on my finger. But I
Okay.
was like, I mean, we had been
Seal the
engaged
deal.
for like, we'd been engaged for a couple years at this point. Like we did everything ass backwards. It's cool though. Whatever. We're the
Right.
example of what we don't want our kids to do, I guess. But even if
Yeah.
they do it, whatever. There's no right or wrong way, right? Um. So I hit Beachbody, and I hit Beachbody hard, like to the point where
Mhm.
man, I shake my head at myself because I was straight flexing that I was working out so hard to the point where I stopped seeing results. I plateaued. I ended up doing 2 days, and I was flexing that shit on these women. And I'm like, why did I do that? But again, we don't know what we don't know, right? Because to us, it's like
Exactly.
work harder. But really, it's work smarter, not harder. I'm pretty sure that
Mhm.
that's really what it's about in this lifestyle right now. Um, so we did the little containers, again, only eating 1,200 calories, but now at this point, 7 days a week, 2 days a week, or I'm sorry, 2 a days. And I'm seeing the results again, but now I'm fucking irritated. I'm irritated and I'm burnt out. I'm like,
Mhm.
this can't be it for me. Like, you're telling me that for me to feel or to actually be semi comfortable in my skin, because I'm still not comfortable in my skin. And I'm
Mhm.
still kind of questioning, like, why do I still, I'm working out hard. I am losing the weight, but why do I still feel not all the way happy? And I don't really suffer from body dysmorphia. I do have bad body image days, but I've never really like been that person in the mirror, like just ripping myself apart. Like I think we do that a little bit, but it's not really like a super huge issue like it is for some people. And I'm like, okay, this can't be it. So at this point now, I'm doing my research, and I stumble upon a bunch of great accounts on Instagram who are now making me question the whole Beachbody thing. Because
Mhm.
Beachbody is great. I've said this before on other podcasts. Beachbody is great to get people off the couch, but it's not great to get people that autonomy that they need and for that sustainability that they're seeking. Because
Right.
ultimately, you can't tell me that you don't want sustainability and flexibility because you're fucking lying to me. Yeah, you want the
Yeah.
results, but you really don't want to do it the hard way, because really all of those fad diets and those crash diets, that's the hard way. You just don't want
And
to
the
do it
long
the
way.
long way. That's the problem, because our way is
Yeah.
the long way, and you have no patience because you lack delayed gratification. Um, so I somehow stumbled upon Amber Brusicki and her macros. I don't know if she does it anymore. It was like her macros 101 boot camp. It was like an 8 week boot camp that taught about macros. But
Mhm.
now I'm learning about macros. I'm learning how to calculate them. I'm learning how to do everything and track everything. But of course, because now my activity level has again decreased because I stopped doing 2 a days, 7 days a week. Now I'm yo-yoing back again. So now I'm having to basically, because I'm at this point I'm reverse dieting because I'm realizing that I shouldn't be at 1,200 calories. So
Mhm.
now ultimately I'm gaining weight, and then now I'm frustrated. But then at this point here, I guess is the turning point for me is I trusted the process.
Mhm.
I stuck with it. I started getting consistent. I learned about strength training. I started really focusing on building that muscle with hypertrophy training. And for now 4.5 years. What are we? No, 5 years. Because I was in 2020. Now we're in 2025. For 5 years, I've been consistently at it and I haven't stopped. And now
Mhm.
finally, I'm at a place of peace, flexibility, and just understanding that I just needed to have patience and I just needed to stick with it consistently and understand that all of those flashy, glittery things were not it. It is the slow, boring basics, and that's what's gotten me to where I am today, where I am comfortable in my skin. Am I done yet? No, because I don't think that you ever should be at a point where you're like, I'm just done. Because I'm sure that whether if it's
Mhm.
your mental or your aesthetics, there's something that needs some kind of upgrade.
For
Because I
sure.
think that we should
Yeah.
be
It's
evolving constantly.
our goals are always evolving, but you won't know that until you one trust the process, or at least trust yourself enough to give it time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
wow. I know it's a snapshot of our history in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, but my story is different but very similar in ways to yours as well, right? And so, well, before we talk about where we're at and what we're doing now, I think it would be I'll talk a little bit about my past, and then we'll go from there. So I too have struggled with the yo-yo dieting, the extreme diet, the little containers, 21-day fix. Everyone knows red, purple, blue, green.
I don't even know why I
um,
still have those in my cabinet because I
dude,
shiver a little
I know
bit.
they're kind of cute, but I thought like I would use them. They're cute. But then I just donated them. Like, I was like, no, I'm done with this. I did get rid of those. They are cute. And so, yeah, for me, so Carmie's lost, I don't know what, about 40 pounds, you'd say,
No, not
or
really.
a little bit
I've
less.
never. So I think at my
Have
heaviest
you?
I was about 170, and
Okay.
then currently sitting at, well, when I left my fat loss phase, I'm 135. Today is like 136. So because
Yeah.
I'm in maintenance right now, so it will fluctuate.
Fluctuate. But you put on a ton
So
of muscle. You've been working on yourself and, building that strength and muscle over the years now. I've lost, to date, 120 pounds, give or take, which fluctuates probably more. I don't know, give.
hey,
And
doc, question. You're
yeah,
120 pounds. Did you do it naturally or did you have help?
uh, well, I don't know. How do you define that, right? Naturally, yes. So no, no GLP drugs or anything like that. But did I do it with help? For sure. And you and I are both for anything that can help, assist you in getting to where you need to while still doing all of the things that are important lifestyle changes. And so for me, when I started 3 years ago, that wasn't even an option. um, but yeah, naturally 120 pounds and struggled with yo-yo dieting, extreme diets for over 2 decades. If we just backtrack a little bit, probably started when I was really young, actually, at a really young age. And what I love about, just sidetrack, going into this podcast and us starting this, is that we have so many areas of just things in our lives that affected us, influenced us, set the, stage and the path that we took. And, one being culture for both of us,
Mm-hmm.
it's huge, right? And
Yes.
so I just love that we're going to be able to touch on these things and get more into depth. But for now, yes, my culture started when I was young. Just the way that you look, how you're perceived, the definition of beauty, all of that, that was ingrained at like 5 years of age, and that unfortunately stayed with me, and basically, I think, set the course for the rest of my life. And how I perceived things and saw things, how I saw myself. And then, so again, I was active too growing up and into my teens. We just didn't eat a lot. It wasn't the thing. It wasn't a thing to take lunch to school. You just had a bag of chips and some Coke. And again, culture, we wouldn't be taking our culturally specific food either to school because that was embarrassing and it smelled and you would get made fun of.
Mm-hmm.
So that just didn't happen. And then so those things mentally had already ingrained themselves. So I was already thinking about that. It was already on the back of my mind. Graduated high school and the activity just dropped off completely. I played basketball in high school, after school, different sports, just in general was active. So that combined lack of not eating and increase and no activity, or activity then, now no activity, and eating more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hit university. Here we don't have the freshman 15 or whatever or anything like that. So I'm from Canada, Carmie's from the US. But it is like you get into university and there is walking, but there's just no activity, and you're sitting lots, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're eating out. And all of those things combined, and life, it just, you gain weight, and now it's like, okay, well, this is coming up, so how do I get this weight off? I didn't learn about nutrition. I didn't know anything, remotely close to what I know now. I didn't know what calories were, didn't know any energy expenditure, nothing. Like you, we just didn't have that knowledge. The knowledge that we did what had was based on diet culture and what we read in
Hmm.
magazines and saw
Or what
and
we
all
saw.
of that, or what we saw in our own households or just in our, families, just generally speaking, all around us. It was always about weight and how you looked,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. And how you
So
present
then,
yourself.
and how you present yourself, not nothing to do with who you are on the inside as a person. It's
No.
all about the exterior. Um, and so that just led to years of trying different things. It was usually for a certain event, for someone's wedding, someone's, I don't know, like a vacation. And that was a cycle that persisted for so many years. Tried things like Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers for years on and off. And that program, as you know, keeps changing. But the premise is the same. You learn about points. And in my opinion, and the experience of some of my clients, it's basically starving yourself, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's obviously a lot of educational tools, but I just didn't understand why they were saying, hey, eat, yogurt and chicken, and like it just didn't make sense, the whole process. So did all of that, and then years of being unhappy, thinking that losing the weight would make me happy and that's all I needed to do. But each time I landed there, no happiness. It was still the same. I still felt the same. And I just go back to what I was doing before because I didn't learn the sustainable habits. I didn't learn how to eat. I didn't learn how to nourish myself. I didn't learn about scale fluctuations. And it was just that all or nothing mindset. And yeah, and I got pregnant like ate a lot, didn't care. Super unhealthy now when I look back with my second one. I was like, oh God, I was around like 230 pounds, I think. And I had them, lost a little bit, obviously, but then gained it back to be at my highest, which was like around 260. And, I don't know if it was the actual weight that was my breaking point. I think it was a combination of things, years of this yo-yo dieting and not dealing what was kind of going on in the inside, and
Hmm.
all of, like we talk about, just things that we believe or any type of, I'm just going to put it in quotes, trauma, because that's specific to me. And
But that also has to do with our
I,
culture, though, too. We're not
yeah,
taught to
yeah,
deal with, we're taught, I mean, and that's something that we can, you know, talk about on another day. But like culturally, and a lot of brown homes, it's you don't talk
yep,
about your traumas. You suppress it. You go outside your door and you put a smile on your face and you pretend like everything is hunky dory and
check,
everything's perfect.
yeah,
So
you
I
check it
think,
at the door.
yeah, because you and I both have had to do a lot of inner work and like figuring out our
Well,
shit to also help all of this come full circle for us.
breaking generational cycles, right? Like really doing
Hmm.
that. And yeah, and it's all about people's perceptions, right? Why do we check it at the door? Because we don't want people to know what's going on behind closed doors,
Hmm.
and we care too much about what people think about us, right? Another topic for another day. uh, gosh. And yeah, so combination of things that finally, I kind of describe it like, people always say, oh, was it like a light switch or a light bulb moment? And I'd say yes, but more like a dimmer switch. The dimmer switch was always moving closer to the on position, insofar as like I knew what I had to deal with and kind of what I had to confront. I just never wanted to all those years. It just kind of turned a blind eye and, you know, wanted to blame other things, right? And so that's what I did. And then one day it was just, I finally just switched it on and said, okay, wake up.
Yeah.
And I did. I did. I went to sleep, woke up the next day and said, that's it. We're not doing this anymore. And so I started, and I'll be honest, like it's been, over 3 years, and I still started with all of these beliefs that I had to, break through and break free from. But it was a journey. It was a process. I was fortunate to have met my coach when I did, and then to have, finally learn and immerse myself, into the world of nutrition and all of this. And that's, ultimately you preface this with by like, oh, any support? And I have to say yes. This time for me, I always try to do it by myself. That's why I was very silent for many, many years. And so I would engage in, these different types of programs and stuff without anyone knowing, kept it to myself. But this time it was like, no, I'm going to seek the support, my coach, of family, whoever, people I trust, and I'm not doing this alone. So I
I think
had the
that's a really
accountability.
great point that you bring up because um, I love that how I asked when you had help, like you spun it in a positive way, right?
Yeah.
Because most people are like, oh, did you have help? Like, did you have help? Like for me, like I had help with the use of substance abuse. So that was
Hmm.
my negative, but there's also that help that's a positive, right? So you and I have been very fortunate that we have gotten the aid of coaches who really support us, who really believe in us and understand that building autonomy and education is important. And I think that that's where there's that gap for a lot of people because very much in just like in the Canada, in the United States, there is a lack of knowledge around nutrition.
Hmm.
Me growing up, I think the only thing I learned about nutrition was that freaking food pyramid, which is not even like prominent now. I think that they've changed it to something else because it was total bullshit. Because again, too, in high school, and it's funny because you brought that point up and it brought me back. It kind of put me in a time warp because that's what we would eat too is chips and a soda for lunch.
Hmm.
And it's kind of maddening as a mom, as a parent now. Like, why are there people in the education system, the teachers, the aides, why are they allowing that? Why are they even selling that shit at school? Now, granted, I know they could probably bring it, but like, why? Because I remember I was in ASB and they would sell that shit in the ASB store.
Hmm.
We'd pop the doors open and all we sold was fucking processed junk. Why are we
Yeah.
doing that? Like, yes, we're fundraising, but what the fuck?
Part of a bigger system, right? Like, yeah, they shouldn't. But I mean,
But
how do
that's why
we?
coaching is important. I mean, you and
Yeah.
I, we fell into this because we realized that there are women that need the help, and we're here to help you. And honestly, you're not alone. And this became a whole full circle thing for us because we became
Yeah.
passionate about it. We wanted to help other women like us because there is a lack of knowledge. And I think you and I are both very much vocal about we are trying to change the system, but not by just doing it through our platforms, but also within our own homes. Because educated parents raise educated kids, and we can't rely on other people to educate our kids. We have to rely on ourselves to do that. And I think that that's why
For sure.
it's really great that coaches like us and our colleagues, we're standing united in the fact that we're trying to drown out the fucking noise and the charlatans and all the bullshit. And although we're not as loud as them, we are trying to make a difference and have these people understand that those boring basics are what's going to get you where you want to be, and you just have to be educated, and we're all providing that education. You just have to believe it and you have to be patient about it. And I think that
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people are having a hard time because they don't want to be patient.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even like my opinion. I'm not sure if it's that they don't want to be patient or, the whole delayed gratification. I think it depends. And I think it depends on where, someone is coming from. And, maybe wanting that gratification is all they know and they just don't know better. Right.
That's true.
And so a lot of the stuff, like we think about, we talk about the things that we see on our feeds. Right.
Hmm.
So I work with, and I'm sure you do too, you work with very intelligent people, very intelligent expertise, in their world, whatever that may
Hmm.
be. And they still struggle with these things like the all or nothing mindset, that carbs are bad, whatever ingrained beliefs that they have over time collected from diet culture, from their own culture, from their families or society, any of that. And I think it's more, for some people, I think it's just lack of exposure, and
Mm-hmm.
so if they're, for example, on Instagram and they're seeing carbs are bad or this or that, that's what the algorithm is going to feed them,
Mm-hmm.
unless they come across someone reputable, professional, or like I did, like you did. Like I said, if just circling back, I was fortunate to um, have someone that I was following at first, and because of that, I met my coach. And because I met my coach, that turned the tide for me, right? Because I don't know which path, if I would have kept going down that Weight Watchers path, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
know if I hadn't learned about nutrition and, this side of the world that we're on,
Yeah.
again, I would have been stuck in that loop. And so it's, in my opinion, it's not always not necessarily that a person just wants, like, doesn't want to be patient or doesn't want to let go of the time, although that definitely plays a role for many people, right? Even if they're on this side of it. But yeah, so I don't know, that's kind of where I stand with that a
That's a
little
fair
bit.
point. Do you feel
Yeah.
like, so kind of going off of that a little bit, do you feel like maybe it also might be a little bit of like almost PTSD? Because, speaking on our own stories, like with the whole yo
Yeah,
yoing back and forth, because at some point we were always able to get some results but never sustain it. Do you think that at a certain point some women are defeated, like they have PTSD, where they're
for
just
sure.
like, they're like, oh my god, okay, I just need to get the results, and then they just automatically already know, like, I'm gonna get the results right now, but then it's all gonna come back later, and it's just that being on that constant hamster wheel over and over again. Like,
Yeah.
how if that was your client, how would you help her understand, like, you have to see past that self-limiting belief, because ultimately it's a self-limiting belief, because I think that
Right.
also too some women are in it already defeated, thinking this is not going to work, which is why they don't want to buy into our whole boring basics um,
Hmm.
statement or lifestyle.
So I think, for me and what my experience has been, and while all of that is prevalent, right? I
Mm-hmm.
see it, we see it every day. I still feel like it, the people that are, wanting to hire me as a coach are self selecting, right? They see my messaging and they know I'm not about quick fixes. I'm not about a 3-month program, 6-month program. You're coming to me and you got to let go of the timeline. Whether you have mentally or
Yeah.
not, at some point you're going to let go of that timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so within that process, and I think, understanding that they also know that these are the things that they're going to be working on. They might not know it when they first start, but the fact that they know I'm not a quick fix coach, I think that in itself just, not only, I know I don't want to word it like this, but gives me the upper hand, but it gives them the upper hand too. Like they're setting
No, but
themselves
it's
up for success without even knowing it yet,
and it's
right?
also tempering their expectations and also having them
Yeah.
understand like where you stand on it, because I am very much also like that, because
Yeah.
this is my passion project and my side hustle. Would I love to make it like a full hustle at some point? Yes. If it never happens for me, that's fine. I'm here mostly to help people, just like you are. You want to help other women, you want to help women feel empowered, you want them to get out of the cycle. So I am very, very blunt with people. Like, if you want a
Hmm.
fat loss coach, I am not it. Will I help you with fat loss? Yes. But if you come to me and your only goal is just fat loss, like in the very like immediate beginning, no, because I'm very blunt at my what is it, my onboarding call. We're not
Hmm.
even going to we're not even going to put a title on what we're doing. What we're doing is data collection. So
Hmm.
for at least the first 2 to 4 weeks, all you're going to do for me is give me your biometrics. We're going to do food logs, and I'm going to take you through what I expect from you, because I'm going to show you what you're going to be getting from me. Because ultimately, this is a science experiment.
Oh, for sure.
We
Yeah, it
need
is. It's,
data. And if I don't have that data of what your eating habits are, because I don't think that people understand that. Like, we need that to see your eating habits. So that way we can help audit your food. Okay, so you really like potato chips. Cool. Can we maybe swap something else, or can we maybe do this?
hmm.
What is your non-negotiable? So clearly the potato chips are your non-negotiable. Okay, log your potato chips first, and then figure out the rest of your day. So at least you're not going over, because a lot of people will eat their day and then they're like, I want the potato chips. And then now they're really over. So I'm very, very, very like blunt about that. I want to see your eating habits. And then, as bad as it sounds, if I don't feel like you're ready for a fat loss phase, I'm not going to take you through it, because I feel like
Mhm.
building those habits and having that foundation is more important than you losing fat in this moment. Will I get you there? Yes. And that's where probably some people are like, oh, well, I want the results now. Okay, well, you're going to have to
Mhm.
go find somebody else, because right now I'm here to help people change their lives and change it for the long term, not right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I also, yes, I don't want someone necessarily going into fat loss right away. Again, it depends. Depends on their history. Depends who, like when we talk to our potential clients, we talk to them about their history and what they're doing currently, and if someone comes to me and maybe it's just a matter of like tweaking things and they're okay and ready for a fat loss phase, I get to gauge that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what they want, I'm cool with that. Again, it depends on them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily of the mindset that, yes, I want to gather data, but I feel like for me, I can gather that data, just depending on where, I'm meeting them where they're at, which you do too. You meet your client where you at, regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of
Yeah.
how we approach our coaching, per se, right?
Mm-hmm.
Generally, it's going to be, yes, the basics. It's just how we come to those basics and how we approach that, how we set you up for that. And that's going to depend on that individual, but it all comes back to, like you said, like we're not quick fixes, both of
No.
us. We're not that, right?
No.
So yeah, yeah, I mean, I think that's something to keep in mind, and why it's worked for us, for both of us. It's just been sustainable
Mm-hmm.
changes over time, small habits. We fall, we get back up, and we're continually moving forward, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. And also, too,
Right.
like, we are also humans in this whole experience, too. And we
Yep.
have our own struggles. And I was talking to you yesterday, because I had posted on my stories about me being in maintenance and how it's been really
Hmm.
mentally taxing. Despite me being, I guess, seasoned in this, I mean, not as seasoned as other people, but pretty seasoned in this whole lifestyle, it still is a battle, because I told you, I this was probably my most successful diet phase yet,
Hmm.
because I got the body recomposition that I've been looking for, where I was finally like, this is what it was the whole time. This is the body I
Yes.
was searching for. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So to go from feeling super lean every morning, to now, like, oh, we've got to shift the mindset. We've got to shift the
Hmm.
focus on other things. And I know that my logical brain knows that, but we are emotional creatures as human beings. And so it's also learning about having to quiet the noise and temper those expectations, and having trust in the process, knowing that you're going to have bad days. But I think what sets a successful person apart from an unsuccessful person is not cutting and running, and just
Yes.
allowing you to feel in that moment, process it, allow you to feel those emotions, sit in the suck for a second, but then go back to your logical side and know this is part of the process. I'm not
Yeah,
always
it's
going to
all
feel great.
exactly. It's all learning, it's all practicing, it's putting in the reps day in, day out. Every day is not going to look the same. Every week is not going to look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes month to month, it's going to differ, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
just in different seasons of life, all these sorts of things. And, giving ourselves more grace, being more kind to ourselves, something that probably a lot of us haven't done. We know you and I both have been in those, like worn those shoes and been
Mm-hmm.
there, done that, really mean to ourselves, and the things that we say
Mm-hmm. I think that's
to
also a
ourselves,
cultural thing,
not
though, too,
pleasant. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
like now that I'm sitting here and you're talking about it and you're saying it, because I also wasn't taught to give myself grace, I feel like it's a cultural standard. Like, you have to show up your best self all the time. Like, what do you mean there is no grace?
Yeah, people are coming over. You have to say hello a certain way. You have to conduct yourself a certain way.
Hmm.
You know, you don't do this, you don't do that. Just yeah, some things. I mean, okay, looking back, you can say there's a lot of positive, and yeah, there's a lot of negative. And for me, I've learned like I've sat in that discomfort. I've chosen to take that deep dive, do some of that healing. Which, by the way, you know, are you ever healed? For me, well, no, but I feel like I'm in a good place now. Um, and I have where I used to blame things and say, oh, it's because of that, it's because of that. I just accept
Hmm.
it for what it is and what it was, how it, how it affected me, how it influenced me. And I was finally able to choose to just move forward now,
So you mean you stopped
right?
living in victim mindset?
I don't, yeah, when we say it like that, yes, maybe again for some, it could be that where you're constantly like and maybe you're using it as a reason not to. And I think I did too. And at some point, yes, you do have to take personal responsibility and accountability for where you're at now and how you
Yeah.
proceed, right? How we
Yeah.
move forward. So, yes and no. I don't know.
I just think that, for
Yes
me
and
personally,
no.
I think people just use it as a crutch too much. Like, does shitty things happen to
Some,
you? Yes. And
yeah.
are there layers of the shittiness that happens to you? Yes, absolutely. Like, I can't compare my traumatic, growing up childhood
Yeah.
to like a rape victim. No, those traumas are absolutely different. So yes, is that mindset going to be different for each person? Yes, absolutely. But I feel like too many people are using it as a crutch. Like, everybody has shitty things happen, but it is up to you.
Mhm.
You have the power and the choice
Yeah.
to rise above it or learn from it. Because I always love to tell people, like, there's no losses in life, they're just
No.
lessons.
Yep.
But it's up to you
Same.
to either choose to have it be a loss in your book or a lesson in your book. And
Yeah.
that's where I stand on the whole victim mindset, because so many people are like, oh, woe is me, oh, this and that. Okay, yes, you got dealt a shitty hand in that moment, but can you go pick yourself a new hand? Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But it's how
Like, or do
you
you,
approach it.
right? Like, it's wanting to face that, right? It's wanting
Mm-hmm.
to look in the mirror and do things differently. And again, it just comes to there's just so many factors at play, but at some point, you still have to choose to do things differently, right?
Yeah.
And where if nothing changes, like nothing changes, and you're kind of stay where you're at, and it's not going to be easy. It's definitely a difficult process for everyone. There's going to be different things that they have to manage, navigate, deal with internally, externally, mentally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. And it's going to look different for everyone. And that's not to negate the fact that though it isn't difficult. It's hard, right? Like it's going to be hard. Yes, we always say, is it simple? Simple, yes. Insofar as, how do we lose fat? If you just want to look at it from, scientific perspective, for sure, right?
But
It is
applying it is
simple,
hard.
but
Applying it is
yeah, the
hard for people.
application, yeah, because there's a lot of variables at play.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's okay. So let's take this and tell the audience a little bit about. I guess we kind of touched on it that here we are. Where I'm a coach as well. You're a coach. We have lives outside of this, but we've been through it. We've been through all the ups and downs, and we can't wait to get into the nitty gritty
Oh, we've
of
got a
all these
running list of
different
topics
aspects.
already.
Yes, yes. So all these different aspects, and the goal is to just hone in on maybe one thing and talk about it in a little bit more depth. And I know we probably went off on 1,000 things today
But that's
already.
okay. That's just a little
Yeah.
glimmer of like what people can expect from us, because we've got a lot of perspective. And what's great is that even though we are very like minded, our perspectives may be different. And
For
that's
sure.
what's great, because you and I are standing hand in hand together. And even though we're like minded, we do have different approaches. And so it's really great to see like us as a united front, but also be like, oh, okay, so she's a little different there and she's a little different there, but they're, they're still united trying to help people and not
Yeah.
fighting. There's a lot of
Yes.
infighting
Yes.
going on in our industry. And I get it, but at the same
Yes.
time, it's like it's true, because I am very boom in your face and you're very like, okay, well, yes, but.
Yeah.
And so that's where like you and I balance each other out, because I'm like, no,
Oh,
and you're like, but.
but well, how about?
So that's what
Well,
makes us
this
like
is
the perfect person.
yeah, and yes, put us together.
It's like we're like the yin and the yang, right?
Our Halloween costume, remember?
Oh, we're the Siamese twins in your big dress. And if you guys don't know, it's all posted. Her in her big girl dress. And that's something that we're
Oh
going to talk
yes.
about later, too, at a later time. And I was like, hold on, I'm hopping in.
I
And
got lots of room in
I
for
said,
you.
we're going to have like a Halloween costume from Canada and United States of Siamese twins. I don't know how that's logistically going to work. Maybe she'll just Photoshop me in it or something.
I think I will. Oh yeah. No, this is amazing. I'm so glad that we're doing this, and I hope like all five of you that are listening to this, including my sister.
Listen, if we can get 5 on, we're winning, okay? Because we're
I
but ultimately we wanted to get on here long form to show you guys who we really are, because it's hard short form on a 90-second reel, because y'all's attention span is short, ours is too, it's
know.
not a big
Two.
two, it
Yeah.
is what it is. But this is for the people who really want to learn, because ultimately you and I, we decided to step into coaching because we wanted to know more. Not saying that everybody has to do that, but we're hoping that this is a platform that will help you guys learn, get educated. If you have the questions, you can always reach out to us. We're more than happy to help. You don't have to become a fit pro to live
No,
this
you
lifestyle
don't.
or learn how to do it. You just have to be curious enough to ask and learn, because ultimately that's what happened with us. And we decided it was a passion of ours and we wanted to go ahead and make a go of this.
Curiosity. That's yeah. That's that word. That's exactly what led us to where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, can't wait. All right. So I think
Where can
we'll end
people
it
find you,
here.
Miss Doll?
Oh, yes. You can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, and it's nutrition coaching. Wait for it. Really, really interesting name. Handle I have. Nutrition coaching by Dal.
That's
And I'll wait.
cool.
I like yours.
I mean, well, mine. Okay, so you guys can find me at carmhawk_gets fit. You'll never know I'm a coach by that name, but unfortunately, I already built the profile on that and it was just too late to change. So you'll never even know I'm a coach based off of that handle. But I opened up that account starting with my journey, which is why that name happened. Doll and I have very low bandwidth for a whole bunch of things, so we're both most active on Instagram. At some
I
point,
know.
we have held each other accountable to start our email list, so we will start that as well. But we have talked about creating this and manifested this for almost a year, and now we're
Yes.
taking the leap. So I'm proud of us, sister.
Y- Yes. Yes.
Because
I
I
want to
know
keep it
you and I both
PG.
had. We did.
I know.
We do curse
Like,
a lot when we're passionate. So
yeah.
sorry. We'll try to keep it to a
But we'll
minimum.
try. We'll try to keep it PG just in case moms, kids
Yeah,
around. Right? Yes.
but I'm proud of
But I
us.
guess I'm very proud. I know this is actually pretty great. I am. I just can't wait to dive in. So until next time, I guess we'll
We'll
see
see you.
you
And
next
if you have
week.
questions, reach out.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Oh shoot.